Hi, my name is Ava Ardondo, and I am conducting this interview for my Ethnic Studies course at Madera College, where we are learning about the experience of American minority groups. Do I have your permission to record our conversation and share it with my professor?
Yes. Michaela Arredondo, and my ethnicity is Filipino Chinese.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Philippines, Manila, Philippines, to be exact.
And how would you describe the neighborhood where you grew up?
I grew up in a poor neighborhood where you'll see the poverty, but it's not to the point that you see people using drugs on the streets. Not that bad.
What was school like for you? Did you have access? You had access to education?
Yes. I
Did,
do have access to education.
did you did you ever have to, before college, did you ever have to pay for your schooling, or was it free?
Well, in the Philippines, you can either pay if you want to go to a private school. If you have the privilege, then you go to private school. But if you're in that poverty sector, then there's also a free school in the Philippines. But I am fortunate enough to, finish school in a private school from elementary to college.
And is the place you live now like the place you grew up?
It's way better. I mean, the place where I grew up is the houses are like right next to each other, whereas here there's like a land separating houses, so way different, way better.
Not as crowded.
Not as crowded, not just quiet.
What did you do as a kid with your friends? If there was any that lived around you or any friends that you have, what did you do for fun?
We hang out their houses or in our house, or we go to the mall, watch movies, eating street foods.
Were there stores near where you grew up?
Yes, I live in the city, so everything is right
Close
there,
by.
close by. Transportation is not a problem. So.
Which stores would you say you like were your favorite that you went to?
The mall in the Philippines, like, how to say it? Do you need the exact store?
It could be like,
Can I say the mall?
just like, so there were like clothing stores and.
Oh, I forgot the name.
Was it like a store like only in the Philippines, or was it?
Yeah, it's only in the Philippines, but I forgot the name. It's like it's a clothing store only for women or girls. It's not. I forget the name, but it's very popular in the Philippines. It's a local store. It's only for girls. That's my favorite store. I forgot the name.
So how did you come to settle in the Central Valley? How did you
Ended up here? It started when I met my husband online 11 years ago. He decided to come visit me, and then when he came back to the United States, he started the 90-day, no, not 90-day, the visa process to get me to live here. So I got here in 2013. We got married within 1 week, and there's a history. He lives in the Central Valley, specifically in Madera. So that's why I ended up here in Madera.
Ethnicity is a group whose members identify with each other on the basis of common nationality or shared cultural traditions. Okay. Regarding your ethnicity, how do you identify yourself?
I am half Filipino, half Chinese. My mom is half Filipino, half Chinese. My dad is pure Chinese.
What do you remember about when you learned about your race or ethnicity? Did you?
So I already know that. Well, I grew up with my grandparents, so my grandparents was very open.
Mm-hmm.
They told me that I'm half Chinese because my dad is a Chinese. So like since I was little, I already know I'm half Chinese, half Filipino.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts or feelings about your ethnic group? Like about maybe like its social problems or contributions, good or bad?
A lot of Filipinos here in the United States, they are in the medical field. So I think that's a good thing. They contribute in the society, in the healthcare specifically.
Mm-hmm.
The Chinese, on the other hand, I think they're more into like technology too. So kind of like I kind of feel good because they're not like society um society
Like
they're not like on the bad side of the society. I mean,
yeah, okay, like they're not causing any problems or
they're not causing any problems. Yeah.
So what would you say is like your dominant culture? Which
Filipino.
and then you kind of already said your thoughts and feelings about that, right?
Well, not really Filipino. I still have, still have and have, because I like Chinese food, and I also like Filipino food. Movies. I'm more into Filipino movies, not Chinese movies. So
like, did you have any cultural traditions in either one that you like in your family would do?
we practice both actually. Like setting up your furniture. There's certain for instance the mirrors you can't put the mirrors in front of a stairway or in front of a door. So that's a Chinese culture thing. Filipino on the other hand, on New Year's Day we gather 12 any 12 kind of fruits, as long as they're like 12 pieces of grapes, 12 anything that's 12 that's round.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Filipino. I'm not sure if that's also part of Chinese culture, but that's what we do. So we kind of practice both.
Some people immigrate with their families, and you came by yourself. So how was that?
It was scary. Okay, I'm leaving everything behind, leaving my family, everything. The only things that I took with me was just my clothes, pretty much, and I left everything in the Philippines. So I got on the plane. I was scared. Like you don't know if they're gonna be,
Mm-hmm.
I met them before I moved here, but people change, and I don't know. I'm just like gambling there. So it turned out good, luckily. But it was pretty scary
Mm-hmm.
to leave everything, then you go on your own. Like you're gonna live with the people that pretty much strangers.
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna happen, but you can't live with what if.
Mhm. So you would be a first generation, right? Mm-hmm. And then
First generation? Not really. Well, my mom lives in Scotland, so she will be first generation. I'm second.
oh, so when you left, was your mom there, or
No,
was she had left?
she was in Scotland when I left the Philippines.
Oh, and then what is your highest level of education?
College. I'm a college graduate.
So is that your bachelor's?
I have a bachelor's degree in computer science.
Um, what was the highest level of education obtained by your parents?
I don't know about my dad. My mom is college level.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't finish college. I think up to second year college.
Mm-hmm. And what is your current job?
I work for the Department of Social Services as an office assistant. I pretty much screen the people that applies for benefits.
Do you do you know the current jobs of your parents? Or do you know what they were before you came here?
I know my dad works in an ice cream factory. That was like 11 years ago. I'm not sure if he still works. The same company. Well, my mom, she's retired.
Do you feel that you experience any barriers with employment when you apply for jobs? Do you think that there are any challenges that you face?
I do, but it's not about my ethnicity.
I was gonna say we didn't mention the other part of you.
Disability.
Yeah, we didn't even say that.
You just thought about ethnicities.
Okay, so you wouldn't say your ethnicity is any barrier, any
I don't
challenge?
think my ethnicity prevented me from getting a job. It's more of my physical disability that prevents me from getting a job. It's it's happening everywhere, even in the Philippines, even here.
Mm-hmm. Have you encountered any recent or past problems that have interfered with your daily activities at home? So this is physical or mental health problems, which is like a physical. This is your physical one. So what you can, if you want to elaborate on the physical problem.
Physical. I have polio since I was 3 years old, and it has been it has been my not problem, my challenges in life that prevents me from doing things that I want to do. For example, like I can't mop the floor. By the time I mop the floor, the floor's gonna be smudged with my wheels. You know, a wheelchair. So it's hard for me to do the bed. You have to get on the bed. You try to fix it, but then you're gonna get on it, so it's not gonna get fixed. Things like that. You can't clean the ceiling fan because it's high. You want to change the curtains, you can't reach the curtain rod. Things like that. When you go to the grocery store, you can't get the items at the top shelf because it's tall. It requires you to be like standing up to get them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not. There are people that doesn't want to help you, and then when people sees you, even though you only have physical disability, they see you like you are mentally challenged. They even talk to you like you're mentally challenged. So, did I
How?
answer your question? I was just talking.
Yes, you did. So, how have you dealt with those problems, like with those challenges?
With that being said, the challenges, like I have to deal with it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not gonna change tomorrow or in a few hours. So, like I mentioned, the bed, fixing the bed, just fix it again. The part of where you sat on, get some like changing the curtains, get somebody to help you. Cleaning the ceiling fan, get somebody to help you. Getting the groceries at the top shelf of the grocery store, get somebody to help you that is willing to help you. And if they don't, get the manager involved. You can't just you can't just stop you can't just stop living your life. You gotta face the challenges, or you're not gonna get anywhere.
Mm-hmm. And I could be wrong, but so you have had this since you were 3. So would you say that having it so young kind of made it easier as you got older? So
Yes, because you adapt to it.
Yeah.
It's I think it's more difficult if you're already grown up and then you're having to you become disabled, and it's hard for people to use the wheelchair because they're embarrassed. Like I can see it from you know
Mm-hmm.
from other people. I know that they're embarrassed to be in a wheelchair, and it's more harder to adapt to that change in your life where you're used to do things on your own, and then all of a sudden you can do it. You're depending on somebody else to help you now. Whereas when you become disabled at a young age, you grew up to it. You kind of get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been discriminated since I was little, so I can't be just stay at home and cry and look at the kids outside. Oh, they're playing outside. So they have a saying, what do you call it? They say if you can beat them, join them. That's basically what I did. They run around, so I run around too on my own way.
um, do you have access to regular medical care?
Yes, I do. I have health insurance through my employer.
Mm. Do you use any cultural or traditional medical care? I didn't even know that was a
Is this
thing.
social?
You're like, no, I shouldn't. I didn't know
There
that was a
is.
thing.
Let me. No. Never heard of that.
I've never heard of that either.
Maybe they're probably referring to those, like on Chinese people, they're more into acupuncture.
Oh,
They
I
believe
see.
in that, and they also Koreans.
Mm-hmm.
They believe in that. So I don't like acupuncture.
What do you think is missing from your community? Like community here. If you don't think there's anything, then
Awareness on people's individualities.
Can you elaborate?
Awareness on people's individualities, physical or challenges. Because some people are just, for example, like if you get your driver's license, you should know that you can't park on the blue
Mm-hmm.
stripe lines, right? Some people they still park there. So how the hell did the people with disabilities gonna get off their cars if you park there next to them? Like that's why you take classes before you get your license, and some people they just ignore it. They don't follow it.
Um,
And like people, you know, U.S. United States is a very diverse country.
mm-hmm.
There's a lot of ethnic group in the United States. I think it's just respect to the different cultures. You know, like if you're from here, I mean, we came to the United States, like we respect the people here.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Americans or the people that are born in the United States, they should respect other ethnic groups, like their cultures. Don't just laugh at them or if they do things that you think it might be weird. But for them, it's you're disrespecting them. I think it's just respect.
Um, what do you consider your primary language?
English?
Did you have any difficulty learning to read or write in English?
No. In the Philippines, it's we have our own language, but in school,
Mm-hmm.
like we use the English language tool, not our language. We only use our language if it is our class in Filipino. That's the only time we speak Tagalog, but in school it's English. I don't know about other school, but in my school it's English. If you speak a one Tagalog word, you gotta pay $1. Yeah. So that's the so you gotta learn it.
I
You
didn't
don't
know
want to
that.
pay $1. You have to learn English.
So, how about like when you were just before school, when you were just growing up in your house, were you were you taught English
Yeah,
too?
we were taught English.
Mm. Okay. Were there any illegal activities in your neighborhood?
Not that I know. I grew up in a poverty area, but I don't see people using drugs there. No trafficking, nothing like that.
Mm.
It's just a poor area.
Uh, what types of jobs have your family members had throughout their lives? If you remember any.
This is my immediate family only.
Mm-hmm. Or any family member that you can think of.
My grandpa used to he's like a license officer in a medical um no in a it's not a drugstore like a drug company.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say like Pfizer like that. He's like a license officer. My grandma is a housewife. My dad he works in an ice cream factory. I don't know exactly his position. My mom she previously worked in a cookie company that Starbucks sells
Mm-hmm.
the cookies. She works there. That's in Scotland, and I think she retired now. And my aunt, she lives in Illinois. She works as had no budget officer in the veterans, the VA. And my other aunt, she works as an accountant. My other aunt, she's a doctor in the Philippines. And I have an aunt in New Jersey or New York. She's a dentist.
So very like many different types of jobs.
I have an aunt that lives in Thailand. She's an English teacher, but she she's a licensed civil engineer. She just didn't practice. She just switched
Mm-hmm.
job to become a teacher, and that's all I can remember.
Do you consider school easy or difficult, or when you were in school?
Easy. It's just difficult because kids doesn't. Some kids doesn't comprehend about your physical disability. They just laughed at you. Like when I walk, because back then I wasn't wearing my leg braces. So when I walk, well, I walk different. So they make fun of you, they laugh at you. So what I do if I see a crowd of students, I have to take the long route just to get to my classroom. So I won't pass through them and they won't laugh at me. But that didn't stop me from going to school.
Have you had any personal experiences with racism?
I used to sub at the school district, Madera School District. In this school, in this I was at the administrative office. I'm not gonna mention the school. And there's a black woman that works there, and then there are some Mexicans or Hispanics. I'm not really sure about their ethnicity. I mean, I know they're. I'm not sure if they're Mexicans or Cuban, Puerto Rican, but I know they're Hispanics. And she was talking about me, like I'm literally in front of them, and they're talking bad about me. In the Philippines, our language is Tagalog, so it's a mix. A lot of it is derived from Spanish words. So I know some words, I just couldn't speak it like fluently.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand what they're saying about me, but I just couldn't respond in Spanish. But it's they're telling me about me not being able to speak Spanish, and something else is bad. But to me, that's racism. Yeah, I understand we work in the front office, but it doesn't have to. You don't have to. I'm just sobbing. I'm not taking your job. I'm just here to help. I'm not taking away your job. If you're confident about your job, your work, so you shouldn't be scared, right? So they're attacking me because I'm from a different,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, ethnic group. Let me call it ethnic group. So I think that's racism.
Mm-hmm. Um, so that was. Is racism not discrimination?
Different.
So have you ever experienced like discrimination? Like
Yes,
with work or any school or anything?
it happened. I think it happened 20 years ago. Right after graduated from college, and then I was a few months taking my master's. Then I applied to this job to be a software engineer. The company, the company name was Accenture. It's a U.S. based company, so they had I was I got hired from the to be a software engineer. Then during the orientation, there was only two of us there. One of the workers said, "The company doctor wants to talk to me." So I came out of the, I got out of the orientation room. He was telling me that I have UTI, but which I don't. But back then I was so naive. So because it was my first time applying for a job and I got hired, and so it's just all first time. So I don't know. But I know I don't have UTI. I know that I don't have nothing. Like I don't feel nothing. And then they said, "Oh, take this medication for a week, then get back, contact us after a week after you're done, so we can like retake it." I was like, "What's it got to do with getting the job?" And then he asked me, "Are you gonna be able to like do the job?" I was like, "I applied for software engineer. It's, you do computers, right? It's more in computers, programming that. What's got to do with if I can do the job? My hands are fine." And I was able to. With that company, they send you like buildings to buildings. It was crazy. Oh, you do this process, then go to the next process, which is in the next building, like on the fourth floor. Then you're done with the process, go back to that building. Then you have to take medical tests, go to the mall and take it, and then go back to the building again and submit your result. It's ridiculous process. Anyway, so I was like, yes, I can do the job. It's just programming. All I do is just be in front of computer and type.
Mhm.
And like, so I go and I didn't apply for be like a. It's like a labor work. It's not like it's gonna require me to be, get, walking, standing long for a long time. It's nothing like that. So yes, I can do the job. Then I was so, since I was so naive, they told me that they can keep the contract, which I did give it to them without realizing that, like, whoops, it's like I'm rejecting the job because I gave the contract back to them. So now I don't have nothing proof that I got hired and that I didn't file a lawsuit. That's to me discrimination just because I'm in a, I'm disabled. I You're gonna question me if I can do the job. So that's the main issue. So after that, I never applied for a job until I met my husband. Then I started
Mhm.
applying for a job again. That really like made me sad.
Is there a story or a lesson, any experiences that you feel are unique to your ethnic group? For example, almost every Armenian has a family story about the Armenian genocide, or many Latino families have a story about citizenship or coming to the US.
A story.
Um,
Genocide. I can saying about like the current event, I think it happened in LA or New York. I think there were some Asian people, including Filipinos too, and specifically Chinese, that were being beaten up because of whatever conspiracy theories that was out there about the COVID. That it all started from Chinese people.
Mm-hmm.
So that one.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. During that time of COVID, when it first happened, were you ever going out and feeling anyone like looking at you differently or anything like that? Treating you differently during that?
No.
Yeah, that's all the questions. Thank you.
It's longer than 30 minutes.